Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into the 143. This is Under Review coming at you live with episode 186.
Got a little bit of Cowboys talk coming your way as there has been a lot going on in the last couple of weeks, and the NFL is right around the corner.
Yep, we are 1 month away from the first game of the season, about 4 weeks when the Cowboys take on the Eagles in Philly on Thursday Night Football, first game of the season. So a lot of stuff, a lot of talk coming out of training camp in Oxnard, as there normally is, as the drama seems
Just
to
how
follow.
it goes.
Drama seems to follow Jerry Jones around, and it's self-inflicted, obviously, but we're going to talk about that. Stat of the week, brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics, is that since 1996, the Cowboys are the only team to not reach the NFC Championship. The only NFC team to not reach the NFC Championship. That's remarkable because Jerry acts like we won the Super Bowl last year, every year, and we haven't won a Super Bowl in 30-plus years now. We haven't made the NFC Championship in 30-plus years, and it's embarrassing. Cowboys fans are tired of it. So that's your stat of the week, brought to you by Andrews Logistics.
Yikes, that's quite unfortunate because we've got some pretty poor teams in the NFC. But yet all of them have made it. Your player of the week and the main topic of discussion, Micah Parsons. He's just been quite the personality the last year or so. It's just everything's been building up and building up.
Yeah.
Completed his fourth year in the NFL last year. Let's see. He had 12 sacks and he won Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2021, 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. The big thing was that in the playoff games that we see from him, it doesn't seem like he's there to step up. He's always talking on that podcast of his, and now he's even come out as far to say that he no longer wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys. He is essentially fed up with the way that he feels he's been treated and the way he's been talked about.
Yep.
And so he has officially requested a trade. He is ready to close the chapter of his life of Dallas. And I don't know if I would be that hurt if he left.
A lot of people are acting like Jerry blew it like he did with Dak and CeeDee, where he always waits. He does always wait to get deals done to the last minute, and then he ends up paying top dollar for the guys that aren't worth it. The thing here is Micah sees TJ Watt, Myles Garrett getting paid record-breaking money, like $40 million a year for a defensive end, and I think that's what Micah wants. The thing is Micah has done absolutely nothing to think he should be in the same class as guys like TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. In my opinion, I think Micah has lately, and I know a lot of Cowboys fans will disagree, lately I think Micah's done more talk than play. I think the podcast really took over the last year, and I think he would just come out and put his foot in his mouth at the end of every game, and instead of seeing it on the field, we were hearing it on his podcast, and I didn't love that.
There would be these random third down scenarios where he's taking a breather on the sideline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want to act like you're the best defensive player in the game, and then in these high-pressure scenarios, you're out taking an oxygen break. It's like, what are we doing here, man?
And he complains about holding calls. Like, yeah, he gets held, but the great ones fight through it and make the play anyways.
Everybody gets held, at some point or another in a game. So it's
look at TJ Watt. TJ Watt is always getting held, but he's still getting sacks. I mean, I just think I will agree. I think Jerry is awful at negotiating. I think Jerry just waits till the end and then pays. Like Dak is prime example. Dak's the highest paid quarterback in the league right now, and he has not been worth it, not one penny. And Micah though, Micah's in the middle of his deal. He's not even in the last year of his deal. Or is he going in the last year? I'm pretty sure he's got 2 more years left on his deal. if I'm not correct, if I'm incorrect there. Either way, though, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got 2 years left on his deal, and he's negotiating for another deal, and that's understandable. But you can't like act like you should be getting paid right now, because Pro Bowl, in my opinion, doesn't mean much anymore. Anybody can get into the Pro Bowl. We saw Tyler Huntley get into the Pro Bowl a few years ago. Like, Pro Bowl is kind of not as much. All Pro is a good thing, but I think from what I saw, and like Nick said, it's playoff football. That's how we judge Dak as well. In the playoffs, we needed Micah to show up, and he was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, it's just
So
getting to the
that's what it's
point where you're just tired of these regular season merchants, Like, I'm
about.
glad we're breaking all these records and doing all these cool things in the regular season, but I mean, I'm tired of watching it. I'm ready to see some action in the playoffs. That's something we've not seen as youngish Cowboys fans in our
Yeah.
lifetime. We haven't seen us be competitive in January, and that's pretty frustrating to watch. Just ready to take that next step forward. And I think maybe offloading Micah would open the door for other people, maybe just because of how
Yeah.
expensive he sees himself and how expensive we would end up making him. I think if we were to offload him, that maybe opens the door to some other possibilities. And then the kid that we drafted from Boston College, he's supposed
Yeah.
to be
He's a dog.
extremely good, and so hopefully he'll be able to fit right in that Cowboys defensive front and be a real good edge rusher for us. Um, I don't know. I
Yeah,
really
I'm not
don't know.
surprised anymore, and no Cowboys fan is, just by things like this that happen before the season. The Cowboys seem to be focused on anything but football nowadays, and Jerry just ends up taking all the spotlight. Here's one lesson that Jerry, I don't know, for some reason has never learned, is just pay the guy beforehand. Once you pay him beforehand, before the market gets crazy, like, you've already paid him. Instead, Jerry waits until everybody's gotten paid, and then the week before the season decides he's going to shell out, top dollar for Dak, for CD, for Micah at this point. I don't think we let go of Micah. I think we end up paying him just like we ended up paying everyone else. I'd be surprised if we actually trade Micah, but I think here, like, Jerry Jones has finally met his match in terms of media, kind of a player that speaks to the media a lot and says his mind. Micah's not holding back when he's talking to the media. And Micah and Jerry both need to get it together, because they're making us look bad. And they're making
Yeah,
us
all
yet
this.
again the laughing stock of the league. Yet
It
again.
happens every single offseason where there's just one player that just throws a wrench into everything.
Yep.
Just has this little sideshow gig about his contract and what he feels he's worth and this, that, and
Yep.
the other. And it's always, it's always such a clown show and a circus. And it's just more reason for people to make fun of Cowboys Nation and Cowboys fans. And it's just so unnecessary. But, that's unfortunately what it's come to. It's just this huge media battle. And I mean, in the end, we will probably end up paying Micah way too much. I
Yep.
do agree. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to see him go.
As long as Jerry Jones is running this team and the Jones family, the Cowboys will never actually truly be successful. We just see
Yeah.
that money is spent on players in awful ways. Guys aren't taking team-friendly deals. I think the epitome of it, you look at Kansas City and look at Philadelphia. Those guys are getting paid, but they're taking team-friendly deals at the same time. And I saw this thing today where Dak's making his cap hits like 60-something million, and the combination of Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, and AJ Brown is around 60 million for Philly. So they're getting 3 studs for the price of R1, who's not really a stud, in my opinion, at this point.
Who's a dud? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just think the team is run. We've said the team is not run very well by Jerry. I think Jerry just likes to be in the spotlight, and they're coming out with a Netflix show here in the next couple of weeks called The Gambler and His Team. That's about Jerry releasing his own show about how he built the Cowboys. Well, it's not the 90s anymore. We haven't been successful since then. And I don't think there's anything to brag about. If Jerry was a real competitor, he'd be doing whatever it takes to win. And I think instead he's doing whatever it takes to make money. We've been saying it forever. Hire a GM. He's not hiring a GM. He thinks he is the GM. And it's just been embarrassing story after embarrassing story. And the biggest thing is it takes the players' focus away from football. Right now you've got CeeDee Lamb, other guys tweeting about pay Micah, pay him what he's worth. So they're showing up to work angry at the boss, basically, which that's never a great work environment. That can spread in the locker room. I mean, it's just – and you've got first-year head coach Brian Schottenheimer trying to get the team together to play a season. It's not a great look.
Yeah, you're stepping into a fire that you have made, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think, as Cowboys fans, I do think we'll see a Super Bowl, but, we'll probably be old and gray and 65 at least when that happens.
Maybe.
It's not going to be with Dak. As good as CeeDee is, unfortunately, I think, it's just he's going to be too old and it's going to outlive him. As long as the Jones family is in charge, the Cowboys will never be successful. We've said it before. We'll say it a million times. It's just not a good situation. We're not really building towards anything. It feels like, it's not like we're rebuilding, but it's also not like we're trying to tank or do anything. We're just this consistent, even plane of mediocrity, right? Yep. And so it's like we're not really moving up, but we're not really moving down that much either. I'm expecting 10-7 season inbound. If we're lucky, we'll see. But I mean, it's a joke at this point, to me at least.
And we're used to it.
We see it every single year, and it's like, here comes the Jerry Jones show. Yep. He likes to talk about how he's this big established GM. That's what he looks at himself as. And, we see through all of that. And it's, his concern is the bottom line. What is his bottom line at the end of every season, right? Yep. He can say whatever he wants to when the camera's in front of his face. He can tweet whatever it is he wants to. But, I mean, he's obviously not concerned with winning. He just looks so clueless every time we see a clip of him. It's unfortunate. We're not going to see any success in Dallas as long as the Jones family is in charge. So we'll see a Super Bowl, but we'll be 65 when it happens.
Exactly. If even then. So anyways, here's like to end our shows on Underview. Brought you a quote from the Pete Carroll, and he said, "Stay hungry, remain humble, and get better today." Ain't that the truth? Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week with another episode of Under Review.